Hello everyone and welcome back. I apologize for not having more videos recently. As you can see behind me, we have been installing a brand new brew house. So we are going to be learning along with you guys. To break in this new brew house, we're going to be brewing a fruited American wheat beer. You can find our base wheat beer recipe in the video tagged below in the description. We're going to be using the same base as we brew it, but we're going to be adding a fruit puree into the bright tank when we finish with the conditioning, which I'll walk you through. But as a reminder, our water profile for the American wheat beer is 50 parts per million of calcium, 5 parts per million of sodium, 75 parts per million of sulfate, and 60 parts per million of chloride. So I'm going to be using gypsum and calcium chloride to get there. So once this gets filled up, I'm going to mix this with some of our RO water, stir it in, add it to the mash tun, and then get going. I'll be back when it's time to mash in. All right, this is our new mash setup. So this is our mash tun right here. We are pulling the wort out from the bottom of the mash tun, running it through the wort pump, which is pushing it through a Herms coil, which I have labeled for the first couple. It's going into the lower Herms, going down the tube, swirling through that coil, coming back up to the upper Herms, and then it's coming over here, and then entering through our recirculation ring. And that is how we're controlling the temperature. And we walk over here and we can see that I've got the hot liquor tank set to about 10 degrees, to 8 to 10 degrees hotter than the mash tun. And it is keeping the mash tun right where I wanted it, between 152 to 154. We're holding it there for 60 minutes. After 60 minutes, we're going to mash out at 168. I'm about to show you the Herms coil. So the Herms coil is how we heat the mash tun. On the old system, we had the direct fire to the bottom of the mash tun, but this one's completely new. So we are pushing the wort through the warmer hot liquor tank, and that is doing the heat transfer for us. So it's going to steam up when I open this, but you can see real quick when I leave it in there, that is the coil that is doing all of our heat transfer for us. So it's very new to us, but we're slowly figuring it out ourselves. And it's working so far. We've still got it at 154 degrees. So we're going to hold it there for another about 45 minutes, and then we're going to mash out. All right, we just reached our 60 minutes of mash, and now we're going to mash out. We raised the temperature of the hot liquor tank to about 178 degrees, and then we are waiting for this mash tun to heat up. It should take about 15 to 20 minutes, but we'll see how it goes. After mash out, I'll be back for the transfer. We just reached mash out, so now we are beginning our sparge. So you can see here we are pulling from the bottom of our mash tun. I switched the lever on this three-way lever. This sends it to the top of the bottom of the Herms coil. This is sending it to the boil kettle. We follow it all the way along here, going into the boil kettle. It is filling up in there. Can't see anything. And then we are using this pump to pull our sparge water from the hot liquor tank, which is shooting it up here through our sparge arm. And we are rinsing the grains with that water. So I'll be back after the sparge to show you the boil. We've got it up to a boil, so now that we have it at a boil, we're going to let it go for 90 minutes. We're going to add our hops in at 60 minutes, and we will be back when it is time to whirlpool. We just finished our boil, so now we are doing the whirlpool. So we're pulling from the racking arm port of the boil kettle, sucking it through our pump, and then pushing it through the tangential input on the boil kettle. It's tough to see with this output, so all the steam comes through here, but it is moving in a counterclockwise rotation, and it is slowly pulling all of those hops, proteins, and shrub to the center of the boil kettle so we don't transfer it over when we knock out. We finished the whirlpool, so now we are doing knockout. We're pulling from the racking arm of the boil kettle, pulling it through our pump, pushing it through our heat exchanger. Thankfully, this didn't change also, so we're used to this. So we got the glycol and the water running. We're going a little bit cool at 60, so I need to speed it up just a little bit. You can see our oxygenation stone, getting plenty of pure oxygen in there. Going all the way down here and going into our fermenter. So I'll be back when it's time to pitch the yeast. Now that the wort is all knocked out, we're going to pitch our yeast. We knock out at 64 degrees and then let it free rise up to 67 degrees as fermentation starts, and then we will let it ferment until it is done. This is the company that we use for our purees. We use Amaretti, and then for this specific recipe, we used apricot puree at a rate of about 0.25 pounds per gallon of beer. We recommend that when you are dosing out your fruit puree, that you try it in a pint glass first, a few milliliters at a time, and then you scale up from there. It's very easy to go overboard with these purees because they are very, very strong. If you do not want to, you can try our ratio. It is a very good ratio. But if you want more or less, definitely play around with it in the pint glass before you go into your full batch of beer. So this is the final product. This is our fruited American wheat beer. As you can see, it's a little bit hazy, a little bit hazier than the American wheat beer that we have because we added the fruit puree to it. We use apricot and we use it at about 0.25 pounds per gallon. That's our ratio. So it is very fruit forward. Put it into our bright tank. So it does not ferment out. There is just, it's straight flavoring. So let's do the tasting. On the smell, all I really get is apricot. I get a little bit of a bready, grainy aroma, but not much at all. For the taste, initially it's all apricot, and then the aftertaste is more where you get that American wheat. So you get a little bit of that bread, a little bit of that grainy flavor. But it is definitely more of a complementary role than with the American wheat. For this, it is definitely predominantly fruit forward. So I'm going to do the rest of the tasting. We are over the age of 21. We do not condone underage drinking. Please drink responsibly. Delicious.